What is an aircraft instrument? Instrument systems exist to provide information on the condition of the aircraft's engine, components, the aircraft's attitude in the sky, weather, cabin environment, navigation, and communication. Aircraft instruments advise pilot on different environmental conditions existing within and outside the aircraft. Wide variety of instruments have been developed to inform flight crews of different parameters. Flight instrument is among the instruments found in an aircraft. Flight instruments are the instruments in the cockpit of an aircraft that provide the pilot with data about the flight situation of that aircraft, such as altitude, airspeed, vertical speed, heading, and much more other crucial information in flight. Quick trivia. Did you know Philippine Airlines is the national airline of the Philippines? It is the first commercial airline in Asia and the oldest of those currently in operation. Let's focus on one of the most important flight instruments, altimeter. What is an altimeter? The altimeter is an instrument that measures the height of an aircraft above a given pressure level. The altimeter is the only instrument that is capable of indicating altitude. This is one of the most vital instruments installed in the aircraft. To use the altimeter effectively, we should need to understand the operation of the instrument, as well as the errors associated with the altimeter and how each affect the indication. Aneroid wafers are free to expand and contract with changes to the static pressure. A higher static pressure presses down on the wafers and causes them to collapse. Conversely, if the static pressure is less than the pressure inside of the wafers are able to expand, which increases the volume. The expansion and contraction of the wafer moves the mechanical linkage, which drives the needles on the face of the ASI. The pressure altimeter is an aneroid barometer that measures the pressure of the atmosphere at the level where the altimeter is located and presents an altitude indication in feet. The two are inversely proportional. As altitude increases, atmospheric pressure decreases. The dial of a typical altimeter is graduated with numerals arranged clockwise from 0 to 9. Movement of the aneroid element is transmitted through gears to the three hands that indicate altitude. Quick trivia. Did you know pilots and co-pilots are required to eat different meals in case one meal causes food poisoning? How do you read an altimeter? The longest the pointer moves around the dial, it is registering the altitude in hundreds of feet. Second largest pointer moves around the dial, it is registering the altitude in thousands of feet. And the shorter or thinnest pointer registers altitude in 10,000 feet. The barometric pressure window is sometimes referred to as Boltzmann window. Only after the altimeter is set does it indicate the correct altitude. Quick trivia. Did you know takeoff and landing are the most dangerous times during a flight? 13% of fatal accidents occur during a flight's takeoff and initial climb, or the first 3 minutes of a flight. The pressure temperature can change between takeoff and landing even on a local flight. If these changes are not taken into consideration, flight becomes dangerous. If altimeters could not be adjusted for non-standard pressure, a hazardous situation could occur. Setting the altimeter. The main objectives of the altimeter setting is to provide adequate vertical separation between aircraft and to provide adequate terrain clearance during all phases of flight. QNH is the observed barometric pressure at an aerodrome adjusted in accordance with the ISA pressure lapse rate to indicate the pressure that will be observed if the observation was carried out to mean sea level. If set, therefore, the altimeter reads aerodrome elevation above sea level. QFE, this setting is the observed barometric pressure at ground level on an aerodrome which, if set on the subscale, will cause altimeter to read 0. QNE, setting the standard sea level pressure of 1013.25 mbar or hectopascal to make the altimeter read the aerodrome elevation. Many pilots confidently expect the current altimeter setting will compensate for irregularities in atmospheric pressure at all altitudes, but this is not always true. The altimeter setting broadcast by ground station is the station pressure corrected to mean sea level. It does not account for irregularities at higher levels, particularly the effect of non-standard temperature. Types of altitude. Altitude in itself is a relevant term only when it is specifically stated to which type of altitude the pilot is referring to. Normally, when the term altitude is used, it is referring to altitude above sea level since this is the altitude which is used to depict obstacles in airspace, as well as to separate air traffics. 1. Indicate altitude from the altimeter when it is set to the current altimeter setting. 2. True altitude, the vertical distance of the aircraft above sea level. It is often expressed as feet above mean sea level. Airport terrain and obstacle elevation on aeronautical charts are true altitudes. 3. Absolute altitude, the vertical distance of an aircraft above the terrain or above ground level. 4. Pressure altitude, the altitude indicated when the altimeter setting window barometric scale is adjusted to 29.92 Hg. This is the altitude above the standard Dodge plane, which is a theoretical plane where air pressure equals 29.92 Hg. Pressure altitude is used to compute density altitude, true airspeed, and other performance data. Quick trivia. Did you know in 1976 the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird is the fastest man-jet aircraft in the world? Concorde might have been fast but not as fast as the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, with flying at 2,193 miles per hour. The Lockheed SR-71 was designed to be fast enough to outpace missiles. Thank you for watching. If we can make a seahorse fly, there is no reason why we cannot make anyone or anything fly.